Right. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our very first masterclass. Wow's very first masterclass for 2026. And let me introduce you properly, Carol. So, today's masterclass is with Carole Hajjar. Carol is a Dubai based health, fitness, and longevity expert specializing in women's physiology across every stage of life. So, drawing on years of hands on coaching and science backed practice, Carol will explore today how women can train smarter, eat intentionally, and
Mhm.
adapt their routines as their bodies change from the teenage years through menopause and beyond. This
Correct.
session goes beyond aesthetics, focusing instead on building strength, vitality, and long term health for life. So, today we're hoping it's going to be a practical, empowering conversation for women who want to feel strong, be resilient, and energized at every stage. Right. Enough of that. So, over to you, Carol. I've done a mini introduction, but tell us more about you. What do you do? Why are you passionate about this topic? And maybe tell us a little bit about the training or experience that you've had that really informs your practice today.
Okay, sure. So I'll start with what do I do? So basically, I focus on living and promoting a balanced, high quality lifestyle where health, fitness, and well being are integrated into my everyday life. So I literally typically prioritize movement, mindful habits, and consistency. And I believe that long term health is built through sustainable choices rather than extremes. So that's, in summary, what do I do? Why am I passionate about this? Well, I'm passionate about health and fitness because I've seen firsthand how physical well being directly impacts your energy, your confidence level, your mental clarity, and overall your quality of life. So, taking care of my body allows me to perform better. I feel stronger. I show up more fully in both my personal and professional life. So for me, it's not just looking good. Yes, that's important. But the main drive is about feeling capable, feeling strong, feeling resilient, and empowered. So that's why I do what I do. And that's why I'm passionate about this. So I've developed a practical, very realistic and understanding of fitness and well-being. So my hands-on approach and my hands-on experience has taught me that the importance of balance plus discipline and listening to my body are the main principle that guide how I approach health today. And this is why what I want to bring to you ladies, basically.
Fantastic. When you're talking about maintaining strength as you age, you know,
Yes.
that resonates with me so much. I'm finding lately that to be able to do some of the work that I did in my 30s and 40s, I have to work harder on my strength just to maintain the level of energy uh,
Yeah.
that I need to run programs.
Yeah.
I,
Because
I, I didn't even, I wasn't very proactive about it. It's only because I am completely destroyed at the end of every program that I'm thinking, I'm wondering, maybe I should, gain in strength um, so that I can keep going. But only because I was already in pain or hurt before it even occurred to me that maybe I should change. I have had a bit of an experience working with Carol as well. The first time I met her, I really thought in my head, wow, if I work with this woman, I just know she's gonna whip me into shape. So this is how that's the start of my relationship with Carol and how we ended up here today. So just the first question, Carol, can we start talking
thank you.
about the exercise and nutrition? So, why is exercise and nutrition different at different stages in a woman's life? So, if you can take us through maybe as you explained, if you can
Yeah.
take us through what exercise and even nutrition is key. If you're a teenager, in your 20s, 30s, if you can, kick us off.
So basically, our female body is designed differently than men, and it's geared up differently. So at every stage of our life, we go through we go through different goals. Okay, so it is not the same goal that is applicable across all our years. But I like to start with a statement. I love that statement. It's not mine, and this is the statement I'm borrowing from Dr. Stacy Sims, who I have my personal qualifications from her. I'm gonna say what she says: women are not small men. And that sentence is powerful. Again, I'm going to repeat that: women are not small men. And I want you ladies to absorb that. Why am I saying that? What does this mean? So basically, we're fueled by hormones. We have two drivers, main drivers, our estrogen and progesterone. And these two hormones, they drive all functions in our body, everything. Like they control all our organs. So our hormones, they change across life stages. They don't stay the same. And that changes how we should train, how we should eat, how we should recover, and how we should fuel. So briefly, female hormones, estrogen and progesterone, like I said, they affect everything. They affect your muscle building, they affect your fat storage, they affect your carb tolerance, they affect your bone density and your recovery and stress resilience. And stress resilience and sensitivity that increases with throughout the year as you age, and we'll go into that later. So as hormone shifts, now the strategy must shift. So the strategy of training, eating, nutrition, recovery, fueling must shift as well. It must change. So this doesn't mean more exercise and less eating. It's the opposite. So it's smarter training. So it is not about the volume, but rather about the quality of your training. So this is in summary. So it's not eat less, train more, and more cardio. No, it is train smarter and eat more, eat better. And again, we'll go into that details later on. So why exercise and nutrition change across a woman's life? The simple explanation, again, at every stage, our bodies are optimizing for something different. So growth, reproduction, performance, resilience, and then longevity. So when a woman is in her 20s, and for you ladies that have kids or daughters that are in their 20s, so before that, teens, sorry, let's go back, teens, starting with teenagers. So here the goal of the body is to build bones, because the body is still forming, bones are still forming, so bone plates are still open. So here the goal is to build strong bones, build muscle, build movement skills, and healthy metabolism. That's in your teens. Then in your 20s, now the goal shifts. The goal here is two things: it's reproduction and performance. So here is the peak, your peak of performance. So peak strength, speed, power, and recovery capacity is in your 20s. Now, when we move to our 30s, now here the goal is to sustain. We've built muscle mass. Now we want to sustain muscle mass. We want to sustain metabolic health and hormonal balance. Then we move to 40s. Now here, that's your perimenopause years. Now here the goal again changes. As you see, every decade, our female goal, our body goal changes with us. So in our 40s, we need to protect. We need to protect our muscle mass. We need to protect our bone density. We need to protect our brain health and our insulin sensitivity, because all of this gets affected by the drop of estrogen and progesterone. In your 50s, the goal here is to preserve. You want to preserve strength. You We want to preserve power. We want to preserve bone density, and we want to preserve your healthy metabolic functions. And then when we get to 60, we want to live a strong, independent life. So here the goal is independence. We don't want to end up in nursing homes or not being able, to walk or sit on the couch and get ourselves back up or go up the stairs. We don't want that. So the goal here is independence. So, and the goal here is to also protect. So protect from falls, protect from fractures, protect from frailty, being less reliant on other, and you don't want to also lose your mobility, because you will lose mobility. So we don't want that, because you stiff up a lot. So basically, to summarize it all, we build a foundation when we're younger, and we perform in our 20s, which is our peak. And then we sustain what we've built in our 30s and 40s. And then in our 50s and 60s, we protect our future, we preserve our strengths, and we train for independence. This is it in a nutshell.
Yes. So already when you were talking about the shift between a teenager to women in their 20s,
Yeah.
what does that mean practically in terms of exercise and what they eat? So, for example, when you were a teenager, how will that shift? If you were a teenager and you were, I don't know, running and eating X number of calories, how does that shift when you get into your 20s? So, this is useful information for some of us who have children here who just transition into their 20s.
So if you're in your teens, never. There's no dieting. No dieting. Your body needs everything. Your body's forming. Your bone, your bone plates are open. Your body's still growing. Your hormones are still, regularizing. So there's no dieting whatsoever. You
If I think about teenagers today, I mean, they diet. The problem of they don't eat, and the pressure of the world asking them to look a particular way affects their what how they eat, and I guess even more exercise than they are eating.
Yeah, and that's sad, and that's bad, because that's gonna end up affecting their hormones, and it's gonna they're gonna stop having their period, or it's gonna delay having their period, and that equally will just mess up all their body functions. It should not be like that at all. So there's no dieting. And yes, I draw on the horrible effect of social media, of wanting to look a certain way or be a certain way, which is so damaging for teens. It's not the time to want to look like a model. It's the time to, yes, work out, of course, because that's your baseline. In these years as a teen, you're building your foundation. So here it's the time to learn proper movement, proper technique, draw on balance, like work on balance, on strength. So you building your foundation, a strong foundation, without going into excess, like over exercising, which will bounce, backfire at you, and without dieting. So if I need to summarize it in few words and tell you, for teens, like what exactly, how they should, what's the best exercise routine, or what's the best nutrition routine they should have. So exercise focus should be, like I said, it's a skill-based movement. So, learning, how to properly move, how to properly squat using your body weight, how to properly, do lunges. So skilled-based movement. And then building strengths without extreme restriction. Okay, strength without extreme restriction. And then being active, being engaged in sports, that require jumping, sprinting, lifting with limits, and good coaching, so they don't end up injuring themselves. So this is when we build again the foundation for a lifelong bone and muscle health. And you will see me going. I'm going to keep going on those two main fundamental things. So you want to protect your muscle mass, so it's muscle health, and you want to protect your bones, so bone density. So for ladies, if you have daughters and they're in your teens, this is the time to help them build that foundation. What's
Early.
happening on a hormonal level, Lisa, 1 second, for those teens. So we could see sometime rapid growth. Hormones are still stabilizing, like I said, and bone density is still being built. So this is huge. So that's why when it comes to eating, under eating and high training actually creates hormonal disruption, and by result missed period and bone loss. So this is not the time to diet and to go into high extreme training at that age.
So, Carol, you said this is not the time to diet.
Yeah,
But of course, I assume you don't mean they can eat anything like
no,
sugar, right? Like you
correct.
still at foundation level,
What
you
I mean by diet, I mean by calorie restriction, like under eating, not eating enough. Always protein should be, whatever your age is, you need to prioritize your protein. You need to prioritize your carbs. And carbs comes from grains, from fruits, and from vegetables, not from refined sugars and not from starchy, processed foods. Yeah. So that's what I mean by diet, like a calorie deficiency or calorie restriction, and not prioritizing, eating the things you should eat. And by the way, that doesn't change us. What I'm saying now, whether in your teens, 20s, 30s, or in your 60s, you should always be prioritizing what I just said. And the funny thing is, as you age, you need to eat more protein, and you need to be conscious about your carb intake. You need it. You actually need that to fuel your body, but you need to up your take on protein. So that doesn't change. That is carried on across all stages in life, and actually it's actually increased as you age. It goes like we need more of that as we age, but we'll go into that on.
when we get to that age. There is one question from Rosie because she's
Okay.
probably thinking, well, I didn't do that in my teens and 20s. Can I catch up?
Yes, it's never too late. It's never too late. It's never too late to start, and I'll show you how, from a nutrition point of view and from an exercise point of view. But it's never too late, no. And actually, you should all start ASAP if you haven't already.
Right. So, shall we move on to when you're in your 20s and 30s? So,
Yeah.
what is the transition? What is the distinction
So,
between
as we said, when in your 20s, now this is the goal of your body shifts to performance and reproduction years. So, because you are in that stage in your 20s, this is the time, where from a biological standpoint, your hormones now are at their strongest. So this is the best time for muscle growth and athletic performance if you're going into some, some specific athletic training. So this is the time basically to build muscles, build bone density, that will help you, because that stage will, help you carry on later on. So the exercise focus here when you're in your 20s again is heavy strength training, hit and sprint work. But what I mean by hit, and I'm going to be very specific, and I need you to hear me very, very carefully. What I mean by hit stands high intensity interval training. What I mean by hit, it is not the hit that you go take in a cardio class. As a matter of fact, I'm very much against it, not from a personal point of view, from a scientific point of view, because studies and cases and research has proven that this type of high intensity interval training that is done in a class setup at a gym actually backfires at you, doesn't help you, because it raises your cortisol level to an unhealthy stage. Okay, and so we want to do HIIT training here, but we want to do HIIT training, and I will explain how. And sprint work. Sprint doesn't mean it's like I only run. No, any sprint work could be, it could be a skier sprint, it could be a rowing sprint, it could be a kettlebell swing sprint, it could be a running sprint, it could be an assault bike sprint. So any type of sprint work in that sense. HIIT here specifically would be done it's called an EMOM. So I'm going to give you an example. So let's say you work for 5 minutes, you have a block of 1 minute, you would perform an exercise with X amount of repetition. And if you finish within the minute, you move to exercise number 2, to minute 2. So basically you have, let's say, 5 minutes. Minute 1, you perform an exercise with X amount of reps. Then you move to minute 2, 3, and 4. Minute 5, you rest. Or it could be done every other minute on the minute. You perform X amount of reps of an exercise in a minute, you rest a minute, and then you go to minute 2. So these 2 you do, and you repeat 5 times for 4 to 5 rounds. So,
Carol, can I ask you? So you're saying that because in some I go to the gym. I went to fitness first when I was in the Middle East. Hello, Lucy. I'm going to a different gym here in the UK. So I attend HIIT classes and they seem to follow the same formula. Why is it better
they
if
don't. I'm going to stop you. They don't, because they don't. When you're in a class, you don't have 1 minute rest after each exercise. You don't. So they do not follow that. It is 45 minutes on the go. I'm a Les Mills coach. I teach these classes and I know how they're set up. You need proper recovery. So if you go into 1 minute of a heavy strength training, so you're lifting heavy, so you're doing a heavy squat. I'm going to be technical. So let's say you're doing 70 to 80% of your one maximum rep. So let's say if you can squat, your maximum is 20 kilos and you can only do 1 rep at 20 kilo of a, squatting with 20 kg, and you can only do 1. So 70% of that weight, 70 to 80% of that weight, you should do at least 6 to 8 reps and then rest for 1 minute.
what I'm hearing here is the problem with classes is, of course, every individual is unique, right?
Yes.
And it sounds like it really is. And in fairness, some of these gyms do recommend one-on-one training because they know that it's the bespoke program per individual that will probably work better than because in a class, it's just, no one's an individual in the class.
Yeah. But also these classes are cardio geared.
Mm.
Okay, so you can get away with cardio when in your 20s. You can get away with that. But it is not effective in your 30s or 40s or 50s. Not at all effective, actually. It does the opposite effect. So you can get away with pretty much anything when you're in your 20s and you can do these classes. But here recovery is key. So you perform an exercise, like a strength training, a heavy lift, and then you recover. You give your body enough time to recover, to regain and recollect ATP in order to go back again.
Mm.
And unfortunately, these classes are, again, like I'm saying, cardio geared. So in your 20s, this is, just to summarize it in one sentence, this is the decade where a woman can build the maximum muscle, so they can build most muscle they will ever have. And when it comes to nutrition in that phase, here nutrition is to you fuel training properly. So you have enough protein, carbs around the workout, so before and after, and consistency with protein intake, not just at dinner, like I don't eat during the day and I just have dinner. And never train fasted. And never train fasted, I'm going to repeat this across all stages, and I will explain later why.
Never train fasted. I want
No.
to highlight a couple of things, the challenges of doing what you've said in your 20s. So a couple of things. For one, in 20s, it's supposed to be the period where reproduction, that's where you're
And
focusing.
performance. So if you're going into an athletic training, this is the best time. Yeah, yeah, for
The
performance.
but the way we live our lives now, after you finish uni and you go to work, your first job is where they really push you. Hardly anyone has time to exercise in their 20s, so missed opportunity. The other thing to say is, gosh, women postpone or they extend reproduction years up to their 50s these
Yeah,
days, right?
yeah.
So I'm thinking, caveating that a bit, that while it's probably most natural to exercise and eat and behave in a particular way in your 20s for your 20s, the reality is, for some of us, we probably still need to think about that as we plan to want to be in a reproductive stage until our 50s. I think that's probably one of the things that complicates it.
I have a different theory. I don't look at things in a complicated way. I'm a disciplined person. You
Mm.
want something, you do it. And all it takes is at least 3 times of exercise, three times of training per week, 3 times doing the right thing, and then eating well, all over always. So I don't think that, I'm sure we can all find 30 minutes 3 times a week, whether in your 20s, 30s, 40s, or 60s, to, look after yourself. It's a mindset. So, it's telling yourself you're doing this for you because you love you. And I don't think it's that hard finding 30 minutes. You have a weekend, that's 2 days there, and then choose a day per week. And it only requires, like I said, 30 minutes of like proper training.
And I agree with you, Carol. Really, at the end of the day, it's about recognizing the importance of it. It's not a luxury. What I'm hearing from you is this is something you have to build into the way that
Yeah.
you live if you want to be
Yeah, it's a
healthy.
way of life. It's a way of life. I'm happy I'm here talking to you because my goal is to raise awareness, because a lot of these teenager girls, which will, soon be, in their 20s, which will soon be mom, which will soon go, through perimenopause and all of that, they are unaware of, what science is telling us today. They are unaware of how to work with their body. They are unaware of what's waiting for them when they turn 40 and 50.
Yeah.
So prevention is better than cure.
Yeah.
So
Good.
prevention is better than cure. Build your baseline. So for what it all starts with knowledge,
Mm.
knowledge, creating awareness, spreading knowledge.
So, Carol, mindful of the time, we have about 16 minutes left. Can we fast forward? I know we're going to skip
Yeah,
a
fast
certain,
forward
but
because
there
most of
are,
the ladies here are in their
our 40s.
perimenopause and menopause years, so let's tackle that.
Let's go there now. Tell us. Okay, what do we need to be doing right now if you're perimenopausal or menopausal?
So you need to now look at your life and yourself seriously. And this is not the time, So if one, drop your cardio. So perimenopause, let me summarize what's going on in your body from a biological standpoint. So this is where most women struggle, okay, perimenopause and onward. And this is where, I'm going to help you mainly. Let me go through a few important things. What's going on in your bodies, ladies? So your estrogen is becoming erratic. It's all over the place. Your cortisol sensitivity is increasing, and your muscle loss is accelerating massively. So we're looking at 40 to 53. This is called sarcopenia, and this is 3 to 5% of muscle loss per decade. After 50, it's going to be, it goes up to 5% muscle loss per decade. This is a huge. Bone density, you're looking at a decrease of a loss of 1% per year. Okay, you will lose bone density. So exercise here is the way you train and the way you eat should massively shift. So what does that mean? So I highly recommend, which that should be like your Bible, heavy strength training. Heavy strength training, at least 3 times a week. And if you're not used to lifting heavy, it's okay. It's a progressive overload. You start with a weight that is, I'm not going to say comfortable. You start with a weight that is challenging for you, and then you build up on that. You build strength from that on. So heavy strength training at least 3 times a week, and then short hit training, not endless cardio. Forget about cardio. So short hits. So like I said, like an EMOM. So you do a 1 minute on, 1 minute off, 5 minutes, 1 minute on, 1 minute off, repeat 5 times, or you do 4 minutes of, 4 exercises, you rest on minute 5 and you repeat again, for 5 rounds, 4 to 5 rounds. And then sprints here, again, it could be 30 seconds of all out kettlebell swings, or all out on the rowing, like all out, like all your effort, everything you can give for 30 seconds, and then you rest 2 to 3 minutes, and then you repeat 5 times. And then you reduce long, steady state cardio. Okay, if you want to do it because you like it, do it for your soul. Let this be your soul workout. You like running, do it for your soul. You like Pilates, you like these things, whatever you like to do. You like cycling. I love cycling. So you do it for your soul. Let that be your soul workout, but not your longevity workout. Your focus should be heavy strength training 3 times a week, and you need to include a small sprint and a hit of a sort, like I explained. And I'm going to add one more thing, and a jump. And a jump could be a broad jump, it could be jumping rope, it could be, if you're already fit enough, jump box. And even jump box, you can start on the smaller level box and then move up to a higher level. Now,
We have a few questions.
yeah, there's nutrition still, but go ahead.
So before we move to nutrition, so Jane's asking about heavy. She's asking, is lifting heavy safe for women? And how heavy
Yes.
is heavy? What do you
So
mean?
that's why I said you start slow. So if you've never lifted heavy in your life, it's two things. You have to have the proper form, you have to have the proper technique before you
Yes.
do anything. So have the proper technique, know how to do it. Then start with a weight that is uncomfortable for you, not necessarily very heavy, something that feels uncomfortable enough, but you can still do 6 to 8 reps of it. Okay, it should be like that.
I'm
Should be.
smiling. Is
I
mine
can only do, yeah.
5 kilos, Carol? Is that too small? Are you like 5 kilos heavy enough, or is that? No,
It's a case by case thing. It depends. It's a case by case thing. 5 kilos might be too heavy for you now to start with, and that's fine. And then you can build on that. It's a progressive overload. And then, so yes, get your technique right so you don't end up doing the wrong thing and injuring yourself. And then start with a weight that is challenging. What I mean by challenging, it should be difficult to do, and you should be able to only go 6 to 8 reps. If you are, oh, that I can do 20 reps, that's not
yeah.
heavy enough. Okay, that's not heavy enough. So that's your benchmark basically.
5 to 6 reps. Five to
Six
six.
to eight reps.
Look at me, selective hearing. No, she said 6 to 8. I heard 5 to 6.
Yeah. So and to test that, usually, like, I don't want to be very technical with you because it's going to confuse you. But basically, if I'm working with someone, I will test them. I would see, what's their one maximum rep, what's the weight they can lift and only do one rep of. Then I calculate 70 to 80% of that, and that's the weight I will use, and tell them to do 6 to 8 reps of that. If you have the financial capabilities to invest in yourself, I highly recommend, to work with a trainer, but again, somebody that is specialized in hormones and female training and understand, how to work with hormonal shifts, because the exercise routine is adapted to hormone shifts. Okay, so we train as per the hormones. Now, nutrition, fueling is so important. Really, like, I can't stress enough on how important it is to eat properly. And I'm gonna also add fueling timing. Okay, eating timing, timing of your nutrition, not just eating. When should you eat? So starting waking up, we naturally wake up with very high cortisol level. It's like that. So we want to, as soon as we wake up, within a window of 30 minutes, we want to bring that cortisol level down. Cortisol is not the enemy, as actually, as long as it has a healthy, it stays in that healthy number where it should stay at, it's good for us. If it drops, it's not good. If it's high, it's not good. So we wake up naturally, females, with a higher cortisol level, so we need to bring that down as soon as we get up. So within 30 minutes, maximum to an hour. I prefer 30 minutes. When you wake up, get something in your body. I don't know, Greek yogurt, have some oats, cottage cheese, have fuel your body, like get some nutrition in.
I don't know whether the others are thinking this intermittent fasting. I don't eat.
No, no,
I
no,
don't
no, no, no,
eat.
no, 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 no. I'm gonna talk about intermittent fasting. Okay. Intermittent fasting should be done according to your circadian rhythm. Okay. What does it mean? It means no more than 12 to 14 hours. Last meal should be done 2 hours before you sleep, or 2 to 4 hours if you want, before you go to bed. And then that's it. You wake up, you eat. Okay. So in total, no more than 12 to 14 hours. You wake up, you eat. You don't carry on living your life without food. Um, it, just intermittent fasting as per your natural circadian rhythm.
And
So you
eating
stop
properly.
eating before you go to bed, and you eat again when you wake up, in a simple matter, in a simple way.
Right. I realized, wow, the time's just gone by really fast. We have four
We
minutes
need
left.
another session.
Yeah. So I really want to open the floor now. So
Yeah.
quick questions from everybody. Jen is asking. Jen is my age. She's in her early 50s. She's doing boxing.
Yeah,
So
I teach martial arts. I teach boxing and kickboxing and Muay Thai. It's very good. I like it. I'll tell
is
you.
that soulful
No,
exercise? Because so
no.
it does involve some strength. Boxing is good.
Yes. And there's an impact. Everything that has an impact on the body helps with bone density. Think of it like that. Additionally, um, I don't know how, I don't know if your boxing is a cardio class or what type of class. My classes are more on technique and more on mobility, and because martial arts usually promotes mobility, flexibility, agility, all of that, which plays an essential role later on, you know, when you are in 50s, like it plays a role in keeping you mobile, keeping your joints lubricated, and moving you away from being stiff. Plus, it creates, of course, like it tackles strength, it tackles endurance, it tackles it's good, but on its own, it's not enough.
Okay.
Right,
So
I'm
good.
going to say it again. On its own, it's not enough. Again, I'm going to tie it back to weight training. 3 times per week, weight training plus your boxing session. Yes, you very much yes. Amazing, because now you're hitting all those boxes. You're hitting muscle. You're working on muscle growth and muscle mass protection. You're working on bone density protection. You are now also hitting flexibility, mobility, agility, and endurance, and also a healthy cardiovascular activity. So
So,
yes, but not on
but
its own.
so maybe I don't know how if you can answer this really, really quickly.
Go ahead, go ahead.
But Tina's just asking about the fasting. So
Yeah,
if you're doing it wrong, how does
yeah.
it negatively what happens
Well,
with
you end up basically, in a nutshell, you store fat, and it's going to end up in your belly area and around your belly where ladies don't like it. So that's what it does. You stock fat basically. You hold on to it because what you're telling your body is designed to protect you. Remember, that's our hunter gatherer. Where your body is designed to protect you. At any point you do that, your body is going into starvation mode. So your brain is communicating to your body and telling him, "Hey, drop her," and like we need to protect her energy because there's no fuel coming in. There's no energy, so we need to save her energy. I'm gonna save you. I'm gonna protect you. So I'm gonna slow down your metabolism, and then by doing that, you end up not burning calories like you should, and your body, instead of releasing energy, is gonna hold on to it because it's thinking you're gonna die. There's no food. It wants to protect you. So you stock fat. You don't release it. You want to release it,
in
and
a
you want to
nutshell?
use it as a source of energy.
Get it. So don't at a certain point it's counterintuitive. It's gonna store the fat and
Yeah,
it does exactly opposite of what you want.
yeah.
Right, we're done. It's gone by really fast. So thank you so much, Carol, for spending the time
Pleasure.
with us.
Well, I
It's
hope I answered all your questions. So
there are a lot more
basically,
questions.
so just retain this, okay? Retain this. 3 times per week, you need heavy strength training. You need high amounts of protein. You need 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal. You need at least 30 to 50% of carbs as part of your daily caloric intake. And you need to add a short hit, a jump, and a sprint. Heavy training, heavy strength training 3 times a week, a short hit session, a jump of any sort, a
Sprint.
small sprint, like I explained, 30 seconds on, 2 minutes off, and then high amount of protein, 30 to 40 grams minimum of protein per meal, and carbs.
So, ladies, can you see how if she's personally training you, there's no chance that you're not going to do it right? So, I know a lot of you have a lot more questions, but we are going to give out Carol's email contact details because she does personal training online too,
Yeah.
on Zoom. So, if you are interested in getting Carol's help, you can do that, and we will send out her contact
Yeah.
details. And that's
So
it.
I don't, sorry, Isa, I don't only look at your training. That's not how I work. For me, it's a 360-degree loop. So I need to look at where you are with your hormones. I need to look at your nutrition, what you're eating, and your exercise. So it's those three elements, that are so important to close the loop. And so you get the best results and you feel energized and we feel strong and ready for next stage of life.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all we have for today. Please follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram to find out more information about our next masterclass in February.
Yes.